I'm very, very late to the party, but I was finally able to check out the movie Sinners. Here are my thoughts on it. Hi, my name is Nathan, and I talk a lot about movies on this channel. Down below in the comment section, share what you thought of Ryan Coogler's Sinners. This is a film that came out back in April, but I just wasn't able to check it out back then. I got a lot of stuff going on, new setup, like new room, still moving in, all that kind of stuff going on, and I'm trying to play catch up on the big movies that I missed back when they first came out. One of those movies being Sinners, which when it came out, everybody was talking about it like it was like the best horror movie they've ever seen, highest cinema score for a horror movie in like 40 years or something like that. Everybody was absolutely just glazing this movie, eating it up. So naturally, I really wanted to check out what all the fuss was about, and I just never got around to seeing it until just a couple of weeks ago. And this video, actually, I wanted to shoot it a couple weeks ago, but I couldn't until just now when I'm filming this video. And so, yeah, that's kind of the context of why I was so late to checking this movie out. But with all that said, let's just get straight into this movie, starting off with the good. And I'm kind of just going to try to do this in one take, as it's pretty late at night and I want to kind of trying to balance out school life, home life again, because I recently became a junior in high school. So I'm going to try to do this the best that I can while still having some time left in my day. But I just simply thought that Sinners was a wonderfully crafted film, pretty much from beginning to end. As you go into it, you watch the trailers, and it's kind of marketed as this vampire film about sort of a little bit of a home invasion-esque thing, but with a club, where there's a club, and vampires start taking people out slowly. That's kind of what the trailers sort of gave out, but it is much more than that. It's a vampire film that is thematic from beginning to end, and kind of has a celebration of music from beginning to end, as it's the music that kind of ties everything together with our characters, with our antagonists, with the leads, the vampires. All of it kind of is all sewn together in a way that we haven't seen in horror movies, and tied together by music of all things, where basically the basic plot of it is, on the surface level, like I said, is about vampires invading this club that Michael B. Jordan opens up, or in the case of this movie, two Michael B. Jordans. But the reason the vampires are attracted there is because of the music. And the music establishes this lore at the beginning of the movie, that music ties like time, people, everything like that together. So they took a big swing at this, making a vampire movie ultimately about music, but in a way it made it fresh, new, and interesting in ways that I haven't seen vampire movies, horror movies like this do before. There's this very long shot in the middle of it where the camera's moving throughout the club, and they say music ties together music from all different time periods. So there's music from the very past, the future, and it's like a period piece film. It kind of has the full range of timelines of music, and it just is something that I've never seen before. It's a fresh, new, original idea, which is kind of what I want from Hollywood and from movies in general nowadays. Instead of being Avengers 25, Transformers 17, or whatever, I like movies to be original, new, fresh, interesting, and I think that's what everybody appreciated about it when it first came out. Adding to that, of course, this movie has phenomenal performances. Michael B. Jordan absolutely pulls off these two characters with kind of different personalities. Even one's a little bit more well-rounded, the other one's a little bit more of a reckless person, and these smokestack twins. And he does a really good job of making these two feel like different people. There's distinctions between the two of them, and even our side characters are great. Like the main music player, Sammy, he's kind of a pivotal point in the movie. He's kind of the reason the events of the movie takes place. And I think the way that, in particular, I found it very interesting the way it used vampire lore. Classic vampire lore about, it sounds kind of dumb on paper, where they can't enter a house or a building unless they are invited in. And it has the classic vampire lore like that, but in a way that is used kind of more intelligently, where it still provides a bunch of tension. It has the garlic, it has the sunlight, like it has all the classic vampire lore, but it's used intelligently in a way that I haven't really seen vampire movies use. And when you do get to the action in the finale, it's very gory, it's very violent, and also has an ending. There's a credit scene in the movie, a mid-credit scene, has an ending that's very thought-provoking, where it's not entirely clear what the main characters took away from this night that happened at this club, and it kind of ends up to be thought-provoking by the time you got to the final credit scene in the film, where this night did kind of bring people together. It just intertwines a whole bunch of themes very nicely. It's the type of movie that you sit down and sit on and think about it, and maybe I would need to rewatch it in order to catch some things that I didn't catch before, but I thought that this was a very interesting, original film. If I had to pick on some negatives here, let's just move on to the bad right here. If I had to pick on some negatives about this movie, I would say I think it could have used a little bit more action if you're not used to the pacing here. The first half of the movie is actually quite slow, and vampires don't show up until the midpoint of the film, and they don't even start really attacking the humans until 65-70% of the way through the film, and the last 30% is a big battle and intertwining some themes in the last 5% of the film. And so maybe could have used a little bit more action. I think in the finale there were ways that they could have used the music a little bit more as the themes intertwined in it, but in the finale it's kind of just a big fight. It probably could have used a little bit more musical elements to make it a little bit more interesting, a little bit more tighter. But Ryan Coogler was able to deliver something overall that was very cool and very interesting, and I can see why a lot of people would say it is very good. I wouldn't say it's one of the best horror movies I've ever seen or anything like that, but it definitely was an interesting experience, and one that I want more Hollywood to do more things like this. Take risks, tell original stories. That's what I want Hollywood to do. So overall, because it was such a fresh, new, interesting experience, and it intertwined characters, themes, and everything it was trying to do, vampire lore, very nicely, overall, I'll give this one an A. But down below in the comment section, share what you thought of the film. Over on my channel, I have more content like this. Check those out right now. Thank you guys so much for sticking around to the end, and I will see you in the next one.